Hi guys, this is Wade from Wade's Orchids, and I got an order of plants in here, and I thought I'd share with you some methods I use to pot up seedlings. We're going to use two different kinds here. This is a little dendrobium. This is called nano chip here, and it's a cross of microchip, which is half aberrans, and that is crossed back to aberrans. Now, Dendrobium aberrans itself only gets about 4 inches tall. You can see this is already about 6 inches, which is as tall as this will get. This is blooming size and will probably bloom early this spring. The nice thing about nano chip, in addition to the fact that the plants don't get any taller than this, is the fact that it will bloom, the flowers will last up to 3 months. Very pretty white flowers, and they'll be blooming, as I said, this spring. I'm also going to pot up a Cattleya. This is LC Jungle Elf crossed with Cattleya Caudebec. Caudebec is a little taller plant. It will get about 10-12 inches tall. Jungle Elf gets no taller than this. So I'm expecting a plant that will get a little bit taller, but should still bloom in a fairly small pot. So we're going to put both of these into 3-inch pots, and this is the pot that we're going to use. You notice it's got a lot of extra holes in. I like something like this. It's got more holes. It helps for drainage. And I also put, in a 3-inch pot, I'll put about 3 pieces of the styrofoam peanuts. Okay, so that just about covers the bottom of it to give it a coating to help with more drainage. So, since I have the Cattleya in my hand first, we'll do that one. And see if I can pull this out here. Should come out pretty. We have a really nice root system there. This is potted in a very, very fine mix. This is from H&R. H&R likes to take their plants and keep them in a really fine mix up to this point. So I'm going to, this is perlite, has a little bit of pro mix and fine bark in it. We're going to go to this mix here, which is just fine bark and perlite. Okay, and I keep this moist. Most of my potting media I don't keep moist, but I do this, otherwise the perlite doesn't stay mixed in as nicely as it should. So I'm going to just reach down here to my garbage can, tap this against the side a couple of times, and get most of the old media out. I don't really try to get all of the media out. Boy, that is just a really nice set of roots. Okay, and we're going to move this along. You see there's new roots coming out here, which means that this is the ideal time to do it. And we're going to arrange this in here. You see how this is, so that the growing lead here is kind of close to the middle of the pot, and we're going to, so that way we'll have room for it to grow for a while. Now we'll just put the fine mix here, tap it in a bit. Hope you can see it. It's going down there a little bit, and now just kind of work it in. The main purpose for tapping it is to help to get the little nooks and crannies that were left from the old potting mix filled in, so that the roots are not pushed around quite so much, and I am using a fair amount of force here to put things pretty tight. There's something that a term I like to use when I'm potting things up, and that is that the potting media should be in what I call intimate contact with the roots. Okay? That way, if it is in what I call intimate contact, it won't have to go searching for roots or for bark when the roots are looking for a place to grab onto. So there we have this one done. A little bit of space left on the top for watering. Put the label back in. Okay, and now we're going to do Dendrobium Nano Chip. Nano Chip, I think, is about the same way. Yep. Again, nice set of roots here. Just doing real well. And I'll shake it down here a bit. Just try to get most of the potting media knocked out. I don't go for every little bit. And again, looking at the roots look pretty good. There's a little bit of older roots that have died, but I don't really worry about that too much. If you have good potting media and healthy roots, you aren't going to run into much problem, especially if you're doing this at the proper time. And just like the other one, I break up the peanuts in halves. And here we are. Put a little bit in here to hold those peanuts in place while I go and put the roots in here and move them around a little bit. Using a 3-inch pot, it doesn't really give you a whole lot of space, so you have to kind of work things around in here a bit. Okay, and again, you see right here is a new growth that's coming up. I want to make sure that growth has room to grow, so we kind of place that towards the middle and tap things in a little bit. Put some on the other side, tap that a little bit too, before we start shoving things down in tightly. I try to be careful. I may have a tendency sometimes to overfill the pot, which is not what I want. I want to have the potting media right up to the level that it was previously. So, again, pushing things in there rather tightly for that good old intimate contact. And this is how I prepare things that I get ready to sell for you guys. Thought you should see what's going on. Now, if this were another type of dendrobium, I would probably pot it in a more coarse media, but because of the nano chip and the fact that it's only a 3-inch pot, the nano chip's roots are fairly fine for dendrobiums, and the fact that it's a 3-inch pot means it's still a fairly small pot. So I elected to use the seedling grade mix. So that's about it for this, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it. If there's any questions I can answer for you, just let me know. These will probably be available for sale in the spring. which will give them a real nice chance to get established and hopefully get to the point where they'll be flowering. So again, this is Wade. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions at all with your orchids, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks, and have a good day growing. Bye-bye.